Have you experienced challenges in practicing in this area, meaning in the work of same-sex attraction? And how have you handled these? I think the challenges sometimes people experience, or I've experienced over the years, would be sometimes um, people that come into counseling may want really quick results, and they may not understand that it's going to be a patient process, a patient in that terms that it's going to take a little bit of time, that they're not just going to turn one attraction off and another on, or they're not just going to make the same-sex attractions go away. So I think that would be one of the challenges that people have to understand that's going to take a while. I also think that the other challenge is people out in the community not understanding what we're actually doing and the kind of work we're doing. So sometimes assumptions get made that we are forcing people to change, or that we're somehow manipulating people. And so there are misunderstandings in that area that we really can have to clear up over time if we have the opportunity. And if people are willing to listen, it gives us a chance to educate if people are open to that. I have had a couple of more hostile folks where I wasn't able to continue communication if they were not wanting to know things in a genuine way. So I think those are probably some of the top challenges in working with this population. How do you integrate your theological studies background with your counseling practice? And that's a great question. I integrate that usually, obviously, well, my theological background informs that, because I am coming from the conviction of traditional morality when it comes to marriage. Also coming from a traditional sense of male and female when it comes to gender and sexuality. So those will be the factors that really contribute to it. And also just the sense of God's design for marriage and sexuality and childbearing, that these three are linked together by design. So that would play a big role in what I do and my worldview, and how I in the ideas that I would bring into counseling. And most of the time, folks have sought me out over the years because I do bring those values into the counseling process, and they understand that, I understand that, and that allows for better dialogue. How do political factors impact your clinical practice? Directly, in terms of working with clients one-on-one, it doesn't really come up in terms of the practice, because the clients I've worked with that were there for, in the past, were there for same-sex attraction. The politics doesn't come up, because their desire to move forward is the same as my desire for them to move forward. So we're both on the same page when it comes to the issue of same-sex attraction. So that one, within the session, it doesn't really have any sway. Now, when you come outside of the session, what political factors come into it? Obviously, when you look at this issue, it is very, it's what we call a politically charged issue. So it doesn't impact the practice directly, or hasn't over the years. I don't see as many clients now, so I don't have as many clients dealing with same-sex attraction, but that hasn't really been a factor. I do think the political climate has impacted sometimes people misunderstanding what we're doing in the field. People misunderstood because they've assumed that people couldn't change, they were born gay, that kind of factor. That has probably played a role with other people I've come in contact with, because the assumption is that people are born gay and that we're doing something bad to them. So I think that's where we have to speak into that. Like I say, in the private sessions, not so much. The political factors that have contributed would be that I understand that colleagues of mine have been discipline and loss of license over issues like this. So I'm mindful of that, but it hasn't impacted what I believe, and it hasn't impacted my convictions when I'm working with individuals.